Have you ever pondered whether psychic abilities truly exist, and if they do, could they have been used in espionage? It's a question that has been debated for centuries, with some firmly believing in the existence of such abilities, while others remain skeptics. One such ability, remote viewing, has especially piqued the interest of many. Remote viewing is the supposed ability to see or gather information about a distant or unseen target using extrasensory perception, or ESP. For some, it's a fascinating phenomenon. For others, it's merely the stuff of science fiction. But what if I told you that this was more than just a concept, that it might have been utilized in the world of espionage, and by none other than the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA? This might sound like something out of a spy novel, but the reality could be far more intriguing. So let's delve into the history of remote viewing and its intriguing connection with the CIA. Remote viewing programs didn't just appear overnight. They have a rich and complex history. The seeds of psychic spying were sown in the fertile ground of the early 20th century. This was a time when the world was rapidly changing, science was advancing, and the boundaries of what was possible were constantly being pushed. Among these new frontiers was the exploration of psychic phenomena. Scientists began to delve into this mysterious realm, seeking to understand and harness its potential. By the mid-20th century, the concept of psychic phenomena had moved from the fringes to the mainstream, piquing the interest of military and intelligence agencies. The Cold War was a period of intense rivalry and suspicion between the United States and the Soviet Union. Each side was constantly looking for an edge over the other, exploring every avenue, no matter how unconventional. In the midst of this tense atmosphere, the idea of using psychic abilities for espionage was born. Imagine being able to see into enemy territory without ever leaving your own borders. The possibilities were tantalizing. The United States wasn't alone in this pursuit. The Soviets, too, were reportedly delving into the world of psychic spying. The race was on. The United States, not wanting to be left behind, began investing in psychic research. This led to the formation of several covert programs aimed at developing and harnessing psychic abilities for intelligence gathering. Among these programs, remote viewing stood out. It was a method that claimed to allow a person to perceive and describe distant locations or events using only their mind. The funding and support for these programs came from the highest echelons of the US government. It was a gamble, a roll of the dice in the high-stakes game of Cold War espionage. But it was a gamble the United States was willing to take. This burgeoning interest in psychic phenomena led to the creation of one of the most controversial programs in the history of the CIA. In the 1970s, the CIA embarked on a covert journey into the world of psychic espionage. This was a time when the Cold War was at its peak and the race for superior intelligence was feverish. The Central Intelligence Agency, always at the forefront of innovation, took a bold step into the unknown, exploring the realms of psychic phenomena and the potential it held for intelligence gathering. This exploration led to the initiation of a program that to many would seem straight out of a science fiction novel, Project Stargate. Named with a nod to the cosmic and the uncharted, Stargate was the CIA's attempt to harness what was perceived as the untapped power of the human mind. The aim was clear: to use remote viewing, the ability to perceive information about a distant or unseen target using extrasensory perception, or ESP, as a tool for spying. Project Stargate was more than just a curiosity for the CIA. It was a serious endeavor, backed by significant resources. The agency enlisted the help of various psychics and mediums, individuals who claimed to have the ability to see what the naked eye couldn't. These remote viewers were often given coordinates and asked to describe what they saw. The hope was that they could provide valuable information about enemy locations, activities, or plans, bypassing traditional methods of intelligence gathering. However, the journey was far from smooth. The CIA faced a myriad of challenges, from the skepticism of those within its own ranks to the difficulty of verifying the information obtained through remote viewing. The lack of a scientific basis for ESP and the inconsistency of results further complicated matters. Yet the CIA persevered, driven by the potential benefits of psychic espionage. The agency's journey into the world of remote viewing was, without question, one of the most intriguing chapters in its history. It highlighted the lengths to which the intelligence community was willing to go in the pursuit of knowledge and power, but it also raised questions about the boundaries of science and the mysteries of the human mind. Now, what was the CIA's verdict on the effectiveness of remote viewing? The results of the CIA's remote viewing programs were, to put it mildly, controversial. As with any venture into the unknown, the outcomes were as varied as the viewpoints of those who evaluated them. The CIA's official stance was one of skepticism, although not outright dismissal. In their report released in the late 90s, they concluded that while remote viewing had indeed produced some interesting results, it was not consistently reliable. The agency highlighted the lack of a clear scientific basis for the phenomenon and the fact that positive results could often be attributed to other factors such as chance, intuition, or the use of conventional intelligence methods. However, critics were far less charitable in their assessment. Many dismissed the program as a fruitless exercise in pseudoscience, a waste of taxpayer dollars chasing after the supernatural. They pointed to the lack of replicable, scientifically rigorous evidence as proof that the program was more science fiction than science fact. Yet the voices of the program's participants tell a different story. Many of those involved in the remote viewing exercises, from the viewers to the analysts, have testified to the program's success. They speak of specific instances where remote viewing provided accurate and actionable intelligence, of moments when the inexplicable seemed to become reality. They argue that while the phenomenon may not be fully understood or consistently reliable, it cannot be dismissed out of hand. This dichotomy of views reflects the inherent challenge in evaluating something as intangible and elusive as remote viewing. It's a realm where the lines between the scientifically verifiable and the ostensibly supernatural are blurred, and where interpretation often depends more on personal belief than empirical evidence. Despite the controversy, the interest in remote viewing and psychic phenomena remains. Whether seen as a tantalizing glimpse into untapped human potential, or a fascinating footnote in the annals of Cold War espionage, the intrigue surrounding psychic spying is unlikely to fade anytime soon. As we continue to explore the boundaries of human perception and consciousness, who knows what discoveries await us in the shadows of the mind? The CIA's foray into psychic spying has left an indelible mark on both the intelligence community and popular culture. As we delve into the legacy of the agency's remote viewing programs, we find a fascinating blend of intrigue, skepticism, and wonderment that continues to shape our understanding of psychic phenomena. The end of these programs didn't mean the end of interest in psychic spying. On the contrary, it ignited a spark that led to an explosion of subsequent research. Scientists and researchers, both independent and state-sponsored, have continued to explore the potential of human psychic abilities. From the academic halls of Princeton's Pear Lab researching anomalous human cognition to the secretive corners of Russia's ongoing parapsychological pursuits, the quest for understanding continues unabated. Yet it's not just in the hallowed halls of research institutions that the legacy of psychic spying lives on. The ripple effects have permeated our popular culture, casting a long and captivating shadow. From blockbuster movies to best-selling novels, the idea of remote viewing and psychic espionage has captured the public imagination. Characters with psychic abilities have become staples in our storytelling, their exploits echoing the real-life experiments conducted by the CIA. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of these programs is the ongoing debate they've sparked. Are psychic abilities real, or are they the stuff of science fiction? The question continues to divide scientists, scholars, and the public alike. For every believer convinced of the existence of psychic powers, there's a skeptic armed with a counter-argument. This debate, this quest for truth, keeps the legacy of psychic spying alive and thriving. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, one thing is undeniable: the world of psychic spying continues to intrigue and baffle us.